So I looked at the phonological differences of Palenquero, or sometimes called lengua or lengua Palenquero. It's, yeah, and Spanish. But to start, so we went to 3 different places that the girls touched on. Palenque a little bit, and then me. So I was going to touch on Bogota. We went here at the end of our trip. It is the capital of Colombia. And we worked with the Palenquero Institute. So we went there like a couple of times. We were only there for a week. We got to meet the different staff there. They showed us around the facility. It was really beautiful. They gave us kind of the history of how the institute came to be and the different languages that they work with. They work with a lot of indigenous languages and creoles within Colombia. And then they took us to their Yerba Buena site, which is kind of out in the country. This is like a very, very old text that they showed us. I don't know if you can see it, but there's actually a watermark here of a cow within the text. And they showed us a ton of different ones in like all of these books, which was really cool. And then they have a really old printing press there. So they went through and showed us all the steps. It's kind of in order minus this one. So those are just the machines. This guy is going through and actually making all of the letters that you would use. Then here is putting on the ink to put it onto the paper. And all the paper gets shuffled through this machine. And then you will have to hand fold it, like Madison's doing in this picture. And then her and Estelita got to practice doing that. And then this is David. She had us go through and like shuffle all the papers together and like race, which was kind of funny. And then here's them actually binding the book together, and then putting the hard covering around it. It was really cool. I'd never experienced anything like that. And the whole thing was in Spanish, which was like kind of hard to understand because I don't already understand the process of making a book, but it was really great. So yeah, that was really fun. But on to Palenquero. So these are some of the phonotactic rules. Gabby touched on a few of them. They changed R to L. So instead of rose, it's a lo. And then D goes to L. A lot of times A at the beginning of the word gets dropped. And like Gabby was saying, there's prenasalization. And then they also like to drop a lot of consonants at the ends of their words. And then a double L becomes it's just dropped. But throughout the thing, I have a lot of pictures because I enjoy taking pictures. My experiment, so I had 3 different tasks. The first one was, this is an image from my first task. The participants just could either name the image in Spanish or Palenquero. I just wanted to see if there was a preference for like which one they wanted to speak in. The second task was they had to create a Palenquero word. So the word existed in Spanish, but they didn't have any like word for it in Palenquero. I knew that would be a little hard, and it was. And then the third task was like a switch. So the switch is indicated by color. So the red showed that they had to speak in Palenquero, and the blue showed that they had to speak in Spanish. And I just wanted to see if those phonotactic rules would bleed through into the other language, if they would keep like using like lengua kind of like just the rules, not actually the words. But a lot of times people just went completely through in one language. But so I hypothesized that people would be more likely to use Palenquero to name images. They're just a very proud community. They love their language. So I assume that's what would happen. The second task, I thought that people would create words based on the phonotactic rules of Palenquero. And then for the third task, I thought there would be phonological overgeneralizations from the first language in the word at the switch boundary. And those are some pictures there. So why this is important. They teach it in school, but it's not really formal. We kind of went and saw one of the classes, and they just kind of read out of the textbook in lengua. It's not anything like our English classes that we have here in any way. So I kind of want to know, how did the younger learners know these phonotactic rules? They aren't taught to them. And then this just kind of allows you to look at native intuition and like inherent metalinguistic abilities. So do they just kind of figure those out and then use them throughout their speech? So I found that people actually willingly use either language to name the pictures, but a few people preferenced using lengua over Palenquero, but sometimes they would switch it up and they would use a little bit of Spanish. Then the second task, a few people knew the phonotactic rules of the language. The second task was really hard. People didn't really understand what I was asking of them, and like for us that would even be hard just to like make up a word. And so I didn't really get a lot of results. A few people, like prominent members of the community, were able to do it. Like if they had to stop at the beginning, they would nasalize before it or something like that, but otherwise they didn't really get it. A few people put the plural marker in front of the word. That's mainly like the younger generation of people. Estelita was doing research on that. People assume that just putting that plural marker and making